Tutoriales de gramática.
Grammar tutorials.
Mandatos.
Commands. What are commands? Commands, also called the imperative, are forms that we use to influence the behavior of the person or people that we are talking to. Among other things, they are used to give orders, to make requests, and to give instructions and advice. Commands can be affirmative or negative. Negative commands start with no.
Llama. Escribe. No llames. No escribas. Por favor, abre la boca y no te muevas.
Usted and ustedes. Commands. Usted, commands. Forms. To form regular usted commands, use the yo form of the present indicative. With AR verbs, remove the o and add e. For ER verbs and IR verbs, remove the o and add a.
Estudio. Estudie. Como. Coma. Escribo. Escriba.
Negative and affirmative usted commands use the same forms.
Estudio. Estudie. No estudie. Como. Coma. No coma. Escribo. Escriba. No escriba. Por favor, abra la boca y no se mueva.
Please note that verbs that are irregular in the first person of the present indicative maintain that irregularity in commands with usted.
Decir. Digo. Diga. Hacer. Hago. Haga. Poner. Pongo. Ponga. Tener. Tengo. Tenga. Salir. Salgo. Salga. Venir. Vengo. Venga.
Ustedes commands. Forms. The forms for ustedes commands are the same forms used for usted commands, but with an N at the end. Negative and affirmative ustedes commands use the same forms.
Estudio. Estudien. No estudien. Como. Coman. No coman. Escribo. Escriban. No escriban. Lean todas las preguntas del examen. Primero respondan las que saben. No pierdan mucho tiempo con las respuestas que no saben y no miren las de otros estudiantes.
Please note that verbs that are irregular in the first person of the present indicative maintain that irregularity in commands with ustedes.
Decir. Digo. Digan. No digan. Hacer. Hago. Hagan. No hagan. Poner. Pongo. Pongan. No pongan. Tener. Tengo. Tengan. No tengan. Salir. Salgo. Salgan. No salgan. Venir. Vengo. Vengan. No vengan.
You will observe that the usted and ustedes command forms correspond exactly to the forms of the present subjunctive. Verbs with irregular usted and ustedes forms. The following verbs have irregular usted and ustedes command forms since they are not formed from the first person singular of the present indicative.
Dar. De. No de. Den. No den. Estar. Esté. No esté. Estén. No estén. Ir. Vaya. No vaya. Vayan. No vayan. Saber. Sepa. No sepa. Sepan. No sepan. Ser. Sea. No sea. Sean. No sean.
These forms also correspond exactly to the forms of the present subjunctive. 2 commands. Affirmative 2 commands. Forms. To form the affirmative 2 command, use the él, ella, usted form of the present indicative. Él, ella, usted lee.
Tengo una amiga que lee mucha ciencia ficción. ¡Ay! A mí me encanta también. Pues entonces lee La invención de Morel. Te va a encantar. Estudia, estudia. Come, come. Escribe, escribe.
Please note that, just as in English, the subject pronoun is not used together with the command. You study, study. You eat, eat. You write, write. Irregular forms of affirmative 2 commands. In Spanish, there are 8 verbs that have irregular affirmative 2 commands, and therefore constitute exceptions to the previous rule.
Decir, di. Hacer, haz. Ir, ve. Poner, pon. Tener, ten. Salir, sal. Ser, sé. Venir, ven. Sal de ahí. Sé bueno.
Get out of there. Be good. All verbs that have these 8 verbs as part of their base maintain the irregular in affirmative 2 commands, such as
Rehacer, rehaz. Mantener, mantén.
negative 2 commands, forms. Negative 2 commands, that is, the ones that start with the word no, use forms that are different from the affirmative 2 commands. To form negative 2 commands, use the yo form of the present indicative. With AR verbs, take off the O and add ES. For ER and IR verbs, take off the O and add AS.
Estudia, no estudies. Come, no comas. Escribe, no escribas. Estudia hasta las 10 y luego duerme 8 horas.
Study until 10 and then sleep 8 hours.
No estudies hoy. Aún tienes mucho tiempo. Y no duermas tanto. Vive la vida.
Don't study today. You have a lot of time left. And don't sleep so much. Live your life. Observe that verbs that are irregular in the first person of the present indicative maintain that irregularity in negative 2 commands.
Decir, digo, no digas. Hacer, hago, no hagas. Poner, pongo, no pongas. Tener, tengo, no tengas. Salir, salgo, no salgas. Venir, vengo, no vengas.
Please note that the negative 2 command forms correspond exactly to the conjugation of to in the present subjunctive. As part of the pattern, verbs with irregular usted and ustedes command forms have irregular negative 2 command forms.
Dar, no des. Estar, no estés. Ir, no vayas. Saber, no sepas. Ser, no seas.
Variants of Spanish: vos and vosotros. Using the subject pronoun vos instead of tú is true for almost all of Argentina and Uruguay. This pronoun exists alongside the use of tú in Chile and in several regions of Ecuador, Colombia, Venezuela, and Central America. Regular forms of vos commands:
Estudia, no estudies. Come, no comas. Escribí, no escribas.
In most regions of Spain, they use two different pronouns to address several people at the same time. Ustedes, which is a form to show respect, just like usted, but plural, and vosotros, vosotras, which is the more familiar form, like tú, but plural. Regular forms of vosotros commands.
Estudiad. No estudiéis. Comed. No comáis. Escribid. No escribáis.
Position of object pronouns with commands. When an affirmative command requires object pronouns, they are placed at the end of the verb and attached, forming one new word. If both an indirect object pronoun and a direct object pronoun are required, remember that the indirect object pronoun comes first. Also, in most cases, including object pronouns means that a written accent will become necessary, since the accented syllable in the verb will shift to a new place.
Laura, ¿qué hago con los libros? Ponlos en una caja. ¿Y con la cámara de fotos? Déjamela aquí, por favor, encima de la mesa. Señora García, ¿qué hago con el póster? Guárdelo en una caja. ¿Y con las tazas? Déjemelas aquí, por favor, encima de la mesa. Laura, ¿qué hacemos con los vinilos? Pónganlos allí. ¿Y con las plantas? Déjenlas al lado de la ventana, por favor.
With negative commands, however, the object pronouns are placed before the verb and remain separate words.
Laura, ¿guardo los libros? No, no los guardes. Los voy a dejar aquí. ¿Y las copas? ¿Te las dejo encima de la mesa? No, no me las dejes aquí. Ya hay demasiadas cosas.